This video is to explain what your subject guide is and give you information about why you should use it. It's going to show you how to find your subject guide, how to bookmark it, and then it's going to demonstrate the useful information that's available to you on your subject guide. So we've come to the library homepage. There are two ways to find your subject guides. I'll show you each one at a time. The first one is via library subject support, where there is a list of all the subjects and you can select yours from that list and then click go. The other way is by going to Finding Resources, where under the library search box you will find the same list. And you can select your subject there. Let's go to one of the guides now. We'll go and have a look at the midwifery guide. Before we look at the guide, let's just look at how to bookmark it. I'm on Chrome here, and I've bookmarked this guide by clicking on the star in the address bar at the top. So if I was to remove that and then add it again, it gives me the option of putting it on the bookmarks bar or in my bookmarks list. And then once I've done it, the star is coloured in once again. Of course, you may use a different browser. We do have a little video on our YouTube channel about how to bookmark your guide in different browsers, and you can find that on YouTube, which is accessible on our webpage at this point on every single page. So whichever subject you've selected, the menu will always be the same. The information on each menu will be different and will vary according to subject, but the menu is always going to be exactly the same. So you'll see that we've got information about books and resources, searching for information, referencing guidance, videos, guides and tutorials, academic study skills, information on how to make an appointment. There's a link to our AI guide, our artificial intelligence guide, and then a link to book on our online workshops. The main page will always give you some basic information about the guide and then introduce you to your academic librarian and skills tutor with information on how to make different types of appointment, as well as links to our blog. Now, the most important information if you're going to be writing assignments is going to be on how to find resources to help you with that, with your research. So our books and other resources section is really important to get to know. So let's have a look at the bit about books for midwifery. At the top, we have a link to Reading Lists Online, where you can put your module code or your module title into the system, and it will show you the books selected by your lecturers. And that's a really important place to start with any module, with researching on any module. But then, of course, you're expected to do your own further research on top of that. So you may want to browse the library for print books if you are an on-campus student, and this information helps you to do that. It shows you the Dewey numbers for the broad topic areas within that subject. So you can go to this number on the shelf, and then you can browse around that and explore some of the print books on that topic. But of course, we've also got ebooks, and there is a selection below of important, useful books and then ebooks that are relevant to your subject. Now, some of these will only be accessible via your subject guide. In the instance of health students, for nursing, midwifery and allied health, for example, this is one of those, the Royal Marsden Manual. The online version of the book is only available via the subject guide. You won't find it in library search because it can't be indexed in library search. This link is to the print version, and then here is the link to the online version. So check your list to see if there is anything that is applicable to your subject. We'll look at another couple of examples of those as we go through the guides. Also in resources, we've got links to databases and journals and articles. There's basic information about definitions of what these things are and why you should use them. We've then got a list of the key databases for this subject. These are for midwifery, but if you go to your subject, you will find the key databases for your subject. We've then got a list of other relevant databases and a link to our e-resources A to Z. Now, again, worth mentioning, some of these resources will not be accessible via library search. The British National Formulary, for example, is another resource that nursing, midwifery and allied health students will need to access via your subject guide. Below these lists, we've got information about journals, information about finding them via library search, and again, another link to our journals A to Z list. And then some guidance on how to search library search for journal articles on your subject topics. Below the databases section, there is a list of links that are useful to this subject. Information all about searching for information. There's a library search box here, and then more information about different types of resources and why you should use them. We've then got referencing guidance, and this is tailored to the subject that you're studying. In this case, because midwifery students use Harvard Cite Them Right style, the information here is based on that and providing videos that are relevant to it, for example, including one on how to use Cite Them Right, and there's a link to Cite Them Right as well. There are then videos that your subject librarian and academic skills tutor has put on here specifically to help you out. And then there is a link to the academic skills guides, including a link to the library and academic skills pathway. Now, all of this information is exactly the same links as you will get if you go to this page via the library web page, via the main page, but you've got your own tailored link. There's also a little calendar there of all of the different workshops that are upcoming. There's information on how to make an appointment. There's a link to our AI guide. And finally, the bottom section on the menu is about how to find out about our online workshops. So on this page, we've got information about all of the different available workshops. So you can explore one of the topics where there are resources and videos, as well as an opportunity to find out when the workshops are running so that you can book onto them. So I've come back to the Finding Resources page so we can explore this list. Let's have a look at the policing guide so that you can see that all the menu items are exactly the same. However, if we click on databases, journals and articles, we can see we've got a link here to Blackstone's Police Manual. Now, this is another example of a resource that you can only access via your subject guide. So if you were studying this subject, either policing or Institute of Policing, your guides will have a link to this. You won't find it in library search. And coming back to here to choose a different subject, we'll have a look at psychology this time. Again, you've got all the same information in the same order, but if we look at the referencing guidance, rather than Harvard, it now tells us that we need the APA style of referencing. It's tailored for this subject and is information that's specific to the referencing style that's required for psychology students. If you are sport and exercise, you will have the same information, same for counselling. Similarly, if we look at law, the referencing guidance here is helping you out to find information on OSCOLA. So to summarise, your subject guide is an essential tool to help you to success while you're at university. It's tailored to your subject with key resources that sometimes you can only access via your subject guide, and it provides access to all the library resources and systems that you will need throughout your time on your course. So what we recommend now is that you find your subject guide and explore it and become familiar with what's available via your subject guide. Bookmark it so that you can find it more easily, and then make sure that you refer to it and use it when you are researching for your assignments and wanting to improve your academic skills.